Welcome to the Experience of the Soul podcast with Cynthia Alice Anderson, a weekly show helping you grow, prosper, and evolve. Today, episode 384, Expanding Vision, Walk Forward. And now, Experience of the Soul.
Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to the Experience of the Soul podcast. My name is Cynthia Alice Anderson. I'm the host. I'm very excited today to be on location with my amazing producer here in Claremont, Florida. It is a beautiful day, a little rain, but let's welcome my producer, Mr. Sean Kilgore, to the show.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 384 of the Experience of the Soul podcast. So happy to be here in person. This is so cool. It's a beautiful rainy day. We are hanging out on Lake Minnehaha here in Claremont, Florida. Today's episode, of course, we are continuing our Expanding Vision series, and today we are walking forward. Before we jump into that content, though, of course, as always, we want to bring you this week in spiritual history for today, Monday, October 27th. So let's all take a gentle breath together and remember why and what is holy about this week and how we can really sort of embody it and live it with love, right? All right, so this Wednesday, October 29th, is the first quarter moon, when the face of the moon is half lit and half in shadow, and that's a spiritual hinge, is what it's known as, to move from intention to action without waiting for perfect clarity.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Perfect.
So we are supposed to be choosing one small faithful step that matches our prayers and our heart's desire, and take that step on Wednesday of this week. Mm-hmm. That step forward.
Yes, I see how you did that there.
I didn't even mean it. All right. Of course, this Friday, October 31st, is Halloween, as well as what's known as Samhain. Yeah. So this Friday holds two names for one thin, luminous threshold. Halloween, of course, All Hallows Eve, keeps company with Samhain, which is the old Gaelic turn toward winter, when we pause for the ones who have gone before us. So at sundown on Friday, we should step out into the cool night air, speak an ancestor's name, maybe light a small candle, and let that flame be your prayer, and pause to listen for the quiet wisdom that still whispers across generations.
Oh, I love that one. I love that one. Yes.
Yeah, this whole week is really kind of all about that. Of course, Saturday, November 1st, then we move into All Saints Day.
Right.
This is when many Christians pause to remember all of the holy ones, the well-known saints, and the everyday saints who raised us, taught us, prayed for us, or simply showed up in our lives with love. So we want you to think of one person who helped you become who you are. Whether that's a grandparent or a teacher, a spiritual leader, a neighbor. We want you to say their name out loud and whisper, "Thank you." Then pick one small virtue that they lived, whether it's patience or generosity or steadfast joy, and practice it in a simple way on this Saturday on All Saints Day. This is a great way. You could maybe send a kind note to someone. You could forgive a small slight. You could maybe tip a little extra when you're out to dinner, or just take one calm breath before speaking when you're in a conversation with someone. This is when ordinary love becomes holy in moments like this.
Absolutely. Beautiful.
And of course, this whole weekend, Saturday and Sunday, when November 1st and 2nd, is All Souls Day and Dia de los Muertos. So this is the day that the church prays for all of the faithful departed, and across Mexico and really across many parts of the country.
Yes.
We have in homes all around the world, families welcome their beloved dead with color and light. So these are two traditions, but one heartbeat. All kinds of meaning the same thing, a lot of like what we talk about, right?
Yes, exactly.
Right. So this is a remembrance that is tender and joyful and unafraid, right? If you'd like to join in, you can maybe clear a small corner in your home. You can make a simple ofrenda, is what they call it.
Yeah,
which is you can,
like
you
a
can
little altar.
Like a little altar. You can put out a photo. Marigolds, I guess, is what is traditional in this situation. You can light a candle, put out their favorite treat, maybe play their favorite song, those kinds of things. Just say their names. Tell stories about them. Maybe let the room and your heart fill with that gratitude and that remembrance. In that moment, remembering, your ache turns into blessing, and love remembers.
Yes. Well, in the South, we all have our ancestors on the wall. It's
Always,
just a way of honoring. And some homes you'll go, especially in the deep South, and outside they'll have, some people call it like a bottle tree. I don't know if you've seen those where
Oh, I have seen those.
people put the bottles and they kind of hang them and they knock together, and that's like a remembrance.
I didn't know that's what that was.
Yeah, the bottle trees, yes, ancestral remembrance.
That is very cool.
Yeah, it's not practiced as much anymore, and a lot of times people do it as like, oh, this looks cool, which is cool, which is fine.
Because a lot of times there's that cobalt blue glass.
That cobalt blue,
which
yeah.
I love, of course.
Of course, yeah,
Right.
your favorite color. But it's very meaningful to me. There's something very, I don't know, ancient about some of the ideas we talk about on here. And in today's culture, there's not a lot of ways to practice it. So I love that we're helping people with that in thinking about this, like bringing back some of the sacred practices into our homes. I think our homes now are, they used to be centered around the hearth, around the dinner table, and now they're centered around tablets and phones.
Yes, yeah.
So, and televisions, so I love that we're helping people create kind of a sacred space and idea. Next month I'm going to talk a little bit more about that too, about creating sacred space in your home. So
Excellent.
that's perfect.
Excellent. Very nice. And just for fun, friends, tomorrow, Tuesday, October 28th, is International Animation Day.
What?
So, yeah, this is it's a time to give your imagination a little playtime. So tomorrow, maybe you could watch your favorite animated movie or short, your shirt, animated shirt. Watch your favorite animated movie or short. You could create a few doodles of your own. Did you ever make a flip book when you were a kid?
I love flip books.
Maybe you could make a little 10-frame flip book just for fun. But this is the day where we celebrate the artist who brings stillness to life and remind us that creativity itself is a form of prayer and being aligned with spirit.
Yes. I love real animation. I have to say, I'm showing my age because, I see all the computer animated stuff and it is cool.
Yeah.
It is cool. But then when I look at older things and I think of how many drawings went into like a couple of frames. Right?
Oh, yeah, it's
the
incredible.
artistry of that.
The years that it takes.
Years
to
that
make,
it takes.
a short,
Yeah. It's
What is
really
your
fun.
favorite classic animated movie?
Classic animated movie? Gosh, I'd have to think about it.
Mine's Peter Pan.
Oh, well, that's a great show
Yeah.
in general.
Yes,
That is a great one.
Yeah.
That is a great one. I mean, all the ones of my childhood were great.
Yeah.
I mean, all the show. It was only that because there were no computers. I'm starting to sound like old fogey friends, but I think that could be our listeners that are connecting with
Yes.
with this. I don't think we have too many 10-year-olds listening, but who wouldn't know what we were talking about. But something about the artistry. Well, the energy also comes through the drawings, and so. I have a concern as we get further and further away from real humans doing things, but, anyway.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention, Sean, back on this other point you were making about honoring the dead, too, there's a great musical artist that I've been recently affiliated with, just in terms of listening, and my partner and I went to his concert the other night. It's Alex Warren.
Oh.
I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I've heard,
Yeah. And there are a lot of great songs, but in concert... So I knew a few of his songs before the concert, pretty well. But he shared at the concert a lot about, because when he was 8 years old, his dad died from cancer. And then I think as he got older, maybe 12, his other parent, died, and he was really left alone. And so a lot of his process and a lot of his music is around trying to make sense of that. So I just wanted to mention for our listeners, if you've lost someone recently or, you experience like a childhood loss like that, his music is beautiful. There are several great songs about missing people you love. And it just brought back beautiful memories. It was sad, yes, but it was also beautiful in remembering people that really mattered. And one of the songs he does is his adult self talking to his kid self.
Oh, wow.
About what he would have liked to know. It's really beautiful. And I'd never seen this in a concert. People brought their family's ashes to the concert.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was really, really interesting. So I'm saying all this because it's seeming like we're needing some honoring around this in our culture today. And it's so unusual. And the artist is so young. He's only 25.
Wow.
So what was interesting is at the concert, there are, kids with their parents there. Kids that brought their parents' ashes, their grandparents' ashes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, yeah. So I just wanted to mention that, friends. If you're not familiar with Alex Warren, you might want to check him out.
Yeah, maybe we'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, to a couple songs, yeah.
Yeah. All right, friends. Well, this week reminds us that life and love are deeply connected. Past and present, seen and unseen. Mm-hmm. So take a moment to remember someone who shaped your path this week. And do one small thing that carries their light forward. That's how we keep the story going. So happy Halloween, happy All Saints Day, happy All Souls Day. Make it a great week, friends, and welcome officially to episode 384 of the Experience of the Soul podcast. This is Walk Forward.
Walk forward, my friends, walk forward. So we started out, this series at the very beginning of the month, and it was so important to me to be bringing this because I love the idea of the power we have that we live in a field of infinite possibility, right? And sometimes that's a great affirmation for me just to say, to widen and expand my vision. I love being outside because of, how expansive the energy and the vibe is. It's like, as far as I can see, there's beauty. And so expanding vision this whole month is about how big can I dream, realizing I live in this field of infinite possibility, that God loves me, that there is enough for me. And if I can remember my true and holy nature, if I can remember my divine blueprint, right? We talked about that second week was divine blueprint. Then all I need to do is start to align, right, with that truth, with that divine blueprint, with that expanded energy. And then I can do what we're talking about today. I can walk forward. I walk forward. And one of my mentors would say it like this: I walk forward with grace. I go forward with ease and grace. I walk forward to do what is mine to do. And friends, walking forward never means that I know exactly what's going to happen as I walk forward. I mean, today is a great example of that idea. Sean and I had the idea, we had the vision, we wanted to record outside. We've talked about it for a long time. It's like, let's just do it. Let's just take the time. I said, you know what? I can make the time. Let's do it up at your place near the water. We love it up here. And Sean lives very close to where we are. And we said, we don't know what we're going to do. And we got here and it started raining. We said, that's okay. We'll move. And we walked forward. And what a beautiful day. But we had to move to make this happen. We had to walk forward. We had to set aside the time. We had to set our intention. We had to first have the vision. So all of these things I talk about, my friends, are true on the very huge, like a macro level, that God has amazing plans for us as a people, as a culture, as a humanity. And in the very simple moments, of the day, as we walk forward on our journey with our families, in our jobs, in our careers, on our individual spiritual journey, that all of this is still true. It's still true, my friends. It is true. So our work today is to decide which way am I to walk forward. Because if we know we live in a field of infinite possibility, I'm reviewing this on purpose. If we live in a field of infinite possibility, if we know we are divine, and then we choose to align with that divine presence, all that's left is walking forward, right, into our next steps. And that walking forward will be full of adventure. That walking forward may have challenges. But what I want to assure you of is if you've been guided a certain direction, the answer will appear. And I'm going to just share something that just happened. And I have always put God first in my finances for the last 25 plus years. And meaning I have always tithed 10% or above of everything I've earned. And I was very guided the other day in meditation to over tithe, what I call it's over tithe if it's over 10%. And it was to a large degree. And I didn't know why Spirit was asking me that. But again, I thought this is somehow about a higher vision for me and for my life. I've got a son in college. So I am committing myself, my finances to God. So it's like, if I'm guided to tithe a certain amount that's over and above what I give, there's got to be a reason. And so as I touched in, as I aligned with the truth, I wrote my check, I handed it in at church, and more than what I gave was already returned to me within 24 hours, more than what I gave. And if I had not walked forward in that practice, I would not have experienced the financial abundance that I experienced. I firmly believe that. And so it was an act of faith. It was a walking forward to do as I had been guided. So we've talked a lot about this idea, about listening deeply and about moving forward to do what's ours to do. And so what I see some people do, though, on the journey is they move forward in a way that is almost bulldozing energy, and I can have really big energy. So I have to check myself sometimes. Am I forcing this, or am I walking forward with grace? So that might be something for you to, check out for yourself on your own, in your own journey. Am I walking forward, with ease and grace, or am I trying to force this? And it's natural, as we start to move forward, especially if it's from a higher vision, it's natural for us to hit a few roadblocks. Not everything always flows effortlessly, So it does behoove us to pay attention and to see what are the blocks telling us as they come up. But normally, these blocks, these energies that we hit up against are about Spirit helping us be sure about this new direction and vision. And I hope that's making sense. So the question I want to get back to in my own mind, I had to take a pause there for a minute, so it took me a second. The question we want to be asking ourselves, is it time for me to walk forward? And so there is a divine timing, there's a divine energy, with things. And what I've noticed in my own journey is when I have this larger intention, that things start coming in my path or clearing, my path as I need for me to make the steps forward. So walking forward is not a blind of faith and trust. It is a conscious moving forward on the expanded vision I have for my life from this place of alignment with my purpose. Like what am I to do and be? So is it time for me to move forward? Is it time for me to walk forward in my life and in my journey in this particular area? And I want to encourage you to, especially if some of this is new to you, to practice it in very small ways. I think sometimes spiritually we get the idea, if I can just, if I can just do this one big spiritual thing, my life will be perfect and I will never have another problem. And friends, that just is not realistic. I mean, even Jesus had people question his teaching. Even Jesus had roadblocks he had to run, that he had to deal with. He had temptations. He had, things that were challenges to his mission and ministry. So for all of us here living in 2025, the idea that we're going to make one spiritual awareness and everything be perfect, that's living in a fantasy land. That's what we call magical thinking. But the idea that we live in a field of infinite possibility is spiritual truth. And so what we're seeking to do is align our everyday lives with this higher truth, knowing as we move forward, knowing as we, seek to live this in a very specific area, like the one I shared about this recent giving challenge that Spirit gave me. That was a walk of faith. That was a walk of faith. And so, be in relationship with Spirit on that. Several people I know who listen to the show are caring for their loved ones. They're caring for their loved ones in the home. Some are having to go back and forth between home and an assisted living facility. People often call those now ALFs. And as people are going back and forth from home to the assisted living facility, they're trying to figure out, how do I walk my spiritual journey? How do I stay focused and take care of myself? So these tiny little things, these tiny little moments are all what I'm speaking about on the podcast. These tiny moments of awareness, these tiny moments of remembering, there is more to me than all of this. There is more to me than just being a caretaker, because a caretaker, by the way, is a gift. It's a gift to your loved one. It's a gift to the universe that you're loving and caring for someone. But I know from working with so many of you that it can start to feel like this is all I am. And so all of these ideas, all of these concepts, there's a divine blueprint. You live in a field of infinite possibility. Align with that truth and walk forward. I want you to be able to contact that mystical, magical aspect of you. And I want you to know that no matter what your daily activities are, that this is still available to you. If you're retired, that doesn't matter. If you work 60 hours a week, that doesn't matter. These spiritual truths are just that. And as you apply it to one little area of your life, and I mean one small little area, then you will begin to see movement at the level of the soul. You'll begin to feel connection with God and all that is. You'll be calling forth energies from the universe itself to support your spiritual journey. I thought it was interesting the other day. I went to a store. There's a store near the church where I work in Daytona, and it's called the Holistic House. And they have beautiful stones and crystals and, sage and sweetgrass and all manner of spiritual things like that. And I wanted to go in there because my dear friend and assistant works there, and I'd heard a lot of good things. And I was really guided to these. There's 7 bracelets, even though I have beautiful prayer beads and everything. I was really guided to these 7 bracelets. I didn't know why. And the guy behind the counter says, "How many do you want?" I said, "All of them." He said, "You want all of them?" I said, "Yeah, I got to have every one. I don't know how many is in there." And then I counted 7. And then I thought, well, that's interesting. I'm the youngest of 7. And I said, that's interesting. There's 7 days of creation. And I said, this is interesting. In my mastermind group, there's 6 of them plus me. That's 7. And I started seeing all the 7s. And then I decided, oh, you know what? This is desert jasper. This is about earth and fire. And then I remembered, oh my goodness, the retreat. And I'm leading a section on fire. So, friends, these tiniest little areas of trust start to bring great awareness and illumination to our journey. These tiny little bracelets that I'm wearing suddenly have a spiritual significance. So now every day that I wear them, I'm dialing into spirit. I'm feeling the energy of planet Earth. I'm feeling my connection with my mastermind. I'm feeling my connection with my siblings. I'm feeling my connection with God. And all I did was simply go in a store nearby church where I'm spiritually minded. I'm listening to guidance. I'm tapping in. I'm aligning and then walking forward. I didn't know why I was purchasing all these. And then the guy said, "You're getting all those? I'm going to give you a discount." I said, "Whatever you choose, I thank you. I thank you." So friends, sometimes the work we do seems minuscule. And I just want to support you in knowing anything you know in the smallest way, anytime you can connect with spirit in the smallest way, is grand to God, because nothing's big and nothing is small to God, really. So any way you know God, in the seeming small ways, as you walk forward in one small area, you will experience more love, more connection, more goodness, more wholeness, more experience of the sacred. That said, I want to also assure you, if something big is happening for you, like if you're experiencing a really big change, the same is also true. And so I don't want you to limit the way you're thinking about your life and about your world. Like, I have a dear friend who is now traveling back and forth to a foreign country where he is establishing a home. And I think it's so wonderful to watch how Spirit is supporting, how his vision is being made manifest as he is consistently walking forward on his journey towards this goal. So I want you to know to not limit, or to remind you rather, to not limit your thinking, not limit your ability to dream about what's possible for you, and to know that it doesn't matter what's going on in the state of the world politically and all this stuff that gets all of our attention now, because God is greater than anything in this third dimensional world in which we live. That God is still God, that God presence still lives in you, and that as you align with this truth, you will be clear as what is yours to do and how to walk forward in faith, with grace, and with trust on your next steps. So my friends, let's review one more time about this month, what we've discussed. That is, I live in a field of infinite possibility. In other words, anything I can think, dream, feel, know is available to me. It's all in the ethers. I live in a field of infinite possibility. Number 2, I have a divine imprint for my life and for my world. It is literally a life plan at the level of my spiritual DNA. It's also a part of my lineage, and it's what I'm here to do and be this lifetime. There is a divine blueprint for my life and for my world. And then thirdly, which was last week, I move into alignment of the truth of who I am, alignment with the good God has for me. I do this by making wonderful choices, by praying, by meditating, by being conscious, by listening, by being aware. So I align with that truth. And then that walking forward becomes a walk of grace, a walk of faith, a walk of trust. I walk forward. I go forward with grace. As my mentor said, Reverend Sharon Poindexter, I walk forward. So every morning, I want to encourage you this week, every morning as you get up, I hope you're listening to this on Monday so you can carry it through the week, to say, every morning you get up, I walk forward with grace. I walk forward with faith to do what is mine to do. And watch how Spirit provides for you. Watch how the universe loves and supports you. Watch how the universe is providing a way and a path around those obstacles. And as the obstacles come up, give them right to God and say, I walk forward. I walk forward. Know, my friends, that the support of the universe is with you. I also want you to know that I lift you in my prayers. I am lifting you up always for God's highest and best. What I want for you has been a life on purpose. It has been all these years I've been doing this show. It has been to know that you are a soul and to know that you're here to grow, prosper, and evolve. And right before the show, Sean and I were talking about how special it is that for 7 years, we've never re-aired an old show. For 7 years, we have had content, new ideas, new themes, and it all leads back to this same thing, this same idea, that God loves you, what we're doing this month, that you live in a field of infinite possibility, that you have this divine plan in your life, that you are here to align with that plan and then live that in the world. So my friends, I honor you, I thank you, and I bless you because I have loved bringing you the show so many years. I can't believe it's been over 7 years, and we will continue to do so. So my hope for you is as you do this work every single day, that you will begin to feel more connection, more love, more support from the universe itself, and then you become a blessing to the world. So my friends, I send you my love and blessings as you do this important work, whether it is in the grand scheme or in the very, very small moments day to day. Remember, God is with you, and our prayers go with you as well. So my friends, thank you for joining us on this spiritual journey. We are blessed and honored to bring you the show. So I look forward to seeing you next week, and blessings on the journey, my dear friends.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Experience of the Soul podcast with Cynthia Alice Anderson, helping you grow, prosper, and evolve. This podcast is made possible because of listeners and viewers just like you. If you would like to support this podcast with your tax-deductible contribution on an ongoing basis or through a one-time gift, head on over to cynthiaaliceanderson.com/donate. The Experience of the Soul podcast is copyright 2025 Cynthia Alice Anderson, all rights reserved, and is produced by Sean Kilgore. A production of the Soulworks Group, Incorporated.